Hello, Applebrook, honey. Hello, Victor. Oh my goodness. So, China's. Look, maybe this. That was in September, but, but their military is in Mexico. Now there was a comment under the video yesterday by Brandy about Mexico, and when she had went there, New Mexico, somewhere she went there. There were military in the stores. There was military on the streets. They had their ARs or whatever they have. And then there was someone else who had just came back from there. The military were in the streets. They were all in the streets. They had their things strapped on them. There's something much more going on in Mexico and South America. And they do have their base. They have a base that they built not too far from the Florida Peninsula. It's not good. Because it doesn't make sense to see so many people fleeing Mexico, just fleeing and fleeing and fleeing. I would assume I would probably flee too if I had China. Their army is massive. And remember Sabrina? Sabrina did a video. She did a press briefing last year. And it was about Russian and Chinese ships or something off the coast or whatever. And she was really worried about it. She couldn't even answer the questions. She could not answer the question. Their military joined the parade. This was at the end of last year. They didn't go nowhere. They're not going to send all their troops over to Mexico. They're not, you all. They're not going to send their troops to Mexico if you all, just to do it and then ship them back. No, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They wanted to establish a base, a place where they could launch, and it's right below us. It's right below us. That was in September. Look. China, Latin America arms sales. They got their Navy. They got it all going. They've got it all going on. Is that supposed to be Lloyd Powell down there? Austin Lloyd. They're fleeing. No one is saying what the troops look like there. They're not, except that they got military uniforms on and they're in the streets. They're in the streets in Mexico. Well, the People's Liberation Army. The People's Liberation Army is the PLA. I for one, I don't think I would let my guard down one single bit. I really wouldn't. They've got one of the largest armies in the world. In the world. In the world. And their people are, their soldiers are expendable. There's something much more going on at the border. That's all I'm going to say. Much greater than we're being told. Much, much greater. And there would seem to be, there is a hindrance to do anything about it. But why? Why? How many Chinese troops? Let's see it. I'm going to get right here. Oh, shoot. How many Chinese military are there in Mexico? How many are in Mexico? You think they're going to tell? Do you think they're going to tell Mexico president to bypass Congress? Why would he bypass Congress? To keep the army in the streets. Why would he want to keep the army in the streets? To bypass Congress. Okay. Gina, what are you saying? I think there's much more to the border crisis than what meets the eye. And that's what I feel. Much, much more. They got their operatives coming in. Also, Gina, this is warmongering, is it? No. There's lots of people talking about World War III coming on. And you can't stop it if it comes. Yes, Carol, meticulously planned for years and years and years and years. Yeah, we really do need to pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, may you be with each and every one of us. May you keep your hand over us. May you lead and guide and protect us, and help us to make wise decisions, and help us not to be hasty. May you just be with us and be with the leaders of this country and the military too. In the name of precious Jesus, amen. No, that's right. No. This is it's a reason they're fleeing. There's a reason they're fleeing. And as they flee, more arrive as they flee their own country. You only flee if there's nothing left there for you. There's nothing left, so you're going to come over here. Gina, how do you feel about it? There's not enough resources in this country. There isn't enough resources. Look at these old sevens. Crypto, look at the military on their crypto, their team. Who's to say that Russia's not in Mexico either? Russia could be in Mexico too. They really could. Let me see this. Russian troops. They were off the coast of, I'm trying to type. Let me do this. I'm going to see if the Russian troops are in Mexico. troops. Mexico. There was a rumor that the Chinese was up there by Canada at that one time. There was. Let me see if I can get the Russian troops. Let's see it. Independence Day. So the Russian troops are also in Mexico. They are in Mexico too. They were for the parade. That was September of 2023. You can see the date right here, timestamp, September the 18th. Of 2023. You got Russian and Chinese troops in Mexico. Where was I? No. I want to go back to to the Russian and Chinese troops were both in Mexico. Do you think they took their troops out of Mexico? You think, oh, well, we'll just send a contingent of troops and we won't build up or anything like that? You think that's all they did? They got the Russian troops. What's he doing in Mexico? Why was he in Mexico also? Why? I don't have nothing but silence in my mind. That's it. Silence. Silence in my mind. Just in my mind. But there's military in the streets of Mexico. Walking the streets. Russian bases on the U.S.-Mexico border. On the U.S.-Mexico border. Yeah, Frank, honey. Hello there, Brandy, honey. I was mentioning how you commented in the section when you were over there. You saw the military in the stores and the streets or something like that. And I had spoke to someone else. Someone had came back from there and they saw the military in the streets too. Straight in the streets. Andrea, I don't know. I don't think they're being interviewed or nothing. Look at this. An enemy in Mexico. Let's see what happens. How old was that? 23 in July. 23 in July. Well, it's not just that. It's Russian troops and Chinese troops in Mexico. Russian and Chinese are in Mexico. What on earth? Well, all right. That's it. Yeah. It does seem distorted. It seems really, really distorted. his vision. I'm done. I'm done talking. All I'd like to say is there's something more going on than what meets the eye when it comes to the border, because China's over there and Russia's over there, and they both participated in the liberation, the Mexican Independence Day of 213 some odd years. And China has been building bases like launch pads. They got one really close near the panhandle, excuse me, of Florida. The Chinese do Chinese. Let me type it in. The Chinese panhandle, Florida, China, Chinese. They're not too far away at all. Chinese. Let me do this. Let me have my space bar on here. The Chinese are base off Florida coast. There's near Cuba. Facility in Cuba. The Chinese. Why are they putting the troops into Cuba? They're having the military base operations. See, this is also August of 23. That came out in August of 2022 or 23. And they participated in the parade in Mexico in September 18 of 2023 also. And it says one of the advantages for China having a military base in Cuba would be to have an area of operations close to the port of New Orleans, which is a very strategic for the United States, being part of a key supply chain that goes down the Mississippi River. So there you go. That's why they got it there. It's a strategic, why are they putting their troops in Cuba? One of the advantages for China having a military base in Cuba would to be have an area of operations close to the port of New Orleans, which is very strategic for the United States and being part of a key supply chain that goes down the Mississippi River. There you go, right there. That's why they got their troops there. Listen. Chinese nationals, sometimes posing as tourists, have accessed military bases and other sensitive sites in the U.S. as many as 100 times in recent years, according to U.S. officials who described the incidents as a potential espionage. Gate crashers. They had the spy base. China plans their military training facility in Cuba. On the island. They're building it off the coast of Florida. This is when all of this stuff started happening. It's when it all started happening. Now you know that our government had news of them building this base long before the article was put out there. And the alarm was raised. About what was happening. And you know what they did? They shut their mouths. They shut the mouthpieces who raised the alarm. They shut them all up. They're planning no, it's not reportedly. What they do is they go in and build up the infrastructure. They pour money into it. It's a mere 100 miles off the coast of Florida. The White House declassified information that they have had an intelligence collection facility since 2019. 2019, they had an intelligence collections. So they've been gathering their data. They have been gathering their data. Intelligence gathering. You know what? My husband was an intelligence, electronic security assessment. He was an intelligence gatherer himself for the United States. When he was in the military, that was his area of expertise. So they do, and they see all the countries have it. It was a 1 in 671. I don't know if that's still up and going. I really don't. Look, according to one official, the base is part of the CCP's Project 141, a military initiative to spread China's influence globally. Other Project 141 bases are or will be soon housed in Cambodia, the United Arab Emirates, Djibouti, and they include intelligence gathering capabilities. A military base near Florida would be China's first in the Western Hemisphere. Oh, listen. Oh, oh. Gina, what are you saying? This report is not accurate, insisted John Kirby, who is the spokesperson for the National Security Council. We remain confident that we are able to meet all security commitments at home and in the region. 2 days later, however, the White House admitted. He said that was not true, but then the White House admitted that it was well aware of the previously undisclosed Chinese spy base in operation since at least 2019, in apparent contradiction to Kirby's previous statement. The White House revealed that Chinese intelligence activity based in Cuba was well documented in the intelligence record. Well, why would he say such a thing? Everything started falling apart. It did. Everything started falling apart, if you think about it. So all this stuff started happening and things, you know. So we got Russian troops. And it's South America. Let me get myself over here. Can I get over here? I'm trying to do this. Chinese troops. Watch it, you will. Chinese. I'm just going to add another. Oh, it didn't want me to do it. I just wanted to type it in up there. I'm just going to get another. Against me on the YouTube again. Yeah, to shut me up. Here they are. They're People Liberation Army. And that also stands for Palestinian Liberation. It does. Isn't that interesting? It is kind of interesting. PLA, China PLA. Let's look at this. Chinese PLA. China, what does, let me put this on here. Let me say, what does China PLA mean? Let's read it. The People's Liberation Army. It's a different live stream, Frank, or something. There are no like buttons or anything. Frank, honey, I'm looking at it right now. It says there's 119 likes, and there's 250 people watching you. Can you please give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, because something massive is taking place. China has over 2 million soldiers. They have over 2 million soldiers. They're already the largest army in the world. Now, we don't have that many in our military. But the people themselves within the United States, well, they would be an army within themselves also. Really, this can get really, really ugly, and not so nice at all. If you're just tuning in, yeah, China has military in South America. Russia has military in South America. Let's just say, I'm pushing on. I need to quit. I need to use this tablet. China has ships. China and Russia. I'm just going to say that. And Russia, Russia ships off coast of America. No, see, it wouldn't let me put it in. I tried to type it in. It didn't want me to type it in. It did not. They got their ships off the coast of America. Coast of America. I'm gonna read it. And Russia said they want Alaska back. Look, China and Russia send 11 military vessels, but what is the filters? Let's go to the filters. Let's do the past month. They got Crimea. Okay, I don't think they're going to show it if it's in here. Russian subs patrol off the U.S. East Coast. Okay. All right, you all know this. I'm done. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm not. There is a problem, but it's part of a greater problem that's occurring on the other side of the border, a much larger problem. So if you have them in the south, if you have China in the south, you could possibly also have them, which you probably do. You have them in the north. You have them in the south. You have them in the north. You probably have them in Canada also. And if Russia could take back Alaska, then you can have the troops coming in from Alaska down into the northern part of the United States. You can have them coming that way. And you can have them coming from the northeastern part of the United States, down up there by Canada or somewhere like that. Then you could have them coming in the southeastern part beneath the United States like that. And you could have them come in the southwestern part of the United States like that to form like a X, like a big X marks the spot for the United States. You could have them invading like that. And then I guess you could have your ships in the Pacific and in the Atlantic. And I guess they could do that part right there. Gina, that sounds like a game. It sounds like, well, it's you. Yeah. X marks the spot. I'm going, Gina, I'm going to go because I promise you, I have been getting myself in a lot of trouble on the YouTube. This is going to get me in even more trouble, a whole lot more trouble, because you don't speak about stuff like this. You don't speak about stuff like that, Gina, because there is no validity. There are no facts behind what you say. Hello. They're building bases. It's all out there on the internet. There's troops. So I'm going to go. I am. So remember, what they say about Louisiana port, strategic port, goes all the way up to the Mississippi? Yes. I'm going to go. And what if so what if while we're watching Taiwan and our eyes are over here, and if the news starts mentioning that, what if they're going to invade the United States? But we're looking at Taiwan. Okay. I'm going to go. So with that being said, hello. Wherever you are in any part of the world, hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Shenanigans, it could be aliens. Could be aliens from outer space or another dimension too. They could be working alongside them. You never know. Yeah. There's a lot of facts out there. Thank you, moderators. Thank you all for your comments. Please hit the subscribe button. They have unsubscribed, I think, probably around 50 people, at least within the past week. And they're slowing the traffic down to the channel also. I said something I should not have said. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining. And please give this video a thumbs up, you all. And have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.